Pulp MX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project Episode 3. We have fixed some cam issues. We have fixed some microphone issues. Kellen Brower is no longer going to submarine us on these things. The hosts have taken it into their hands to provide you, the listener, with audio and visual perfection. Thank you to my friend, my dear friend, Lewis Phillips, for the camera recommendation. And let's get going. Thank you again to Troy Lee Designs and Racetech for this Blair Matthes Project Episode 3, San Diego Supercross, and more. I definitely want to thank the folks at Racetech, of course. Man, they've been supporting a lot of things that we do at Pulp MX over the years, and now they're helping out this show. Suspension work, moto work. Tell them you listen to Pulp, get a discount. Great suspension stuff going on. Parts, service, all of it available at racetech.com. Go to their website. Super, super informative. And, of course, Troy Lee Designs. Troy Lee Ducati. We've seen them at the races. They're going to be there a lot. Justin Barsha wearing Troy Lee gear. Started in 1981. Troy Lee started with custom painted helmets for racers that didn't want to blend in. And now they're making some of the most iconic motocross gear in the mountain motocross and mountain bike world. From bold helmets to durable apparel, Troy Lee is all about pushing boundaries. Visit TroyLeeDesigns.com. Good-looking stuff, as always. Troy Lee's always great-looking stuff. And we're going to have a discount code, I hope, coming soon. So stay tuned as well on this. Thank you to the folks at Maxxis Tires, Decal Works, Seat Concepts, Zool's Bags, A-Stars, ASV, and FirePowerParts.com for coming on board. Thank you to Kellen Brower behind the scenes. We're going to talk a little bit with him at some point in this episode. But I'm Steve Matthes, and with me over there from Main Event Moto, from Supercross U, the Daniel Blair. What's up, DB?
What's up? San Diego, on to Anaheim. Is it raining this weekend?
I don't know, man. I'm one of those people that I don't care about the weather 5 days later.
I don't either, don't care. But someone said it, and I don't want it. So I just want to know. All right. Well, I'll check in after the show, but that would suck, dude, because I feel like these first two are pretty good. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I left San Diego just ready for the next one, and I would not like a sloppy one. It's just me.
Who wants a sloppy one? No one does.
I really don't want it, though. What I mean is I don't even want to be okay with it. That's what I'm talking. Like, I'm not going to be fine with it. I don't want it at all. So.
Okay. Lots to get into when it comes to this race. We've had 4 qualifying sessions in 2025, and Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton, and Jet Lawrence have been 1, 2, 3 in some order in 4 qualifying sessions. Count me as I know Webb's not quite 100%, and I know Kenny is Kenny. Count me as shocked they put 17 seconds on those dudes. I know they were pushing. And when you look at the 17 seconds from San Diego and you look at the qualifying times through 4 sessions of those 3 guys, do we already have separation?
I think it exists. I think it actually existed coming in too. And I think that sucks for Webb because he is a champion quality guy that will go the 17 and he will just fight and claw and scrape and keep himself alive. But those other 3 are on a little bit of a different level speed wise. That's always been Cooper's issue, is just being a little off in speed. And Kenny's Kenny. I think he looks awesome to start the season, but yes, he's probably in that next tier behind those 3. So it is the 3, and I think it sets up perfectly because Chase and Eli did the swap. I mean, they both had a front end tuck wash, whatever you want to call it. They both went way back, both charged back, and then both won the other one. So to me, they look very mirrored. Jet, obviously, the 12-2 12-2 is great for us from a points perspective because it'd be good to have him behind. But yeah, it's just it's what I feel. I feel like it's those 3, and I feel like there might be a run here even coming, Steve, where it might be them 3 on the podium for a month. Remember a couple of years ago, it was like Jason. Oh God, we went like a month or 6 weeks straight was the same 3 people. And I feel like we may get a Chase, Jet, Eli run maybe sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, look, I point out the qualifying times of those 3 guys, and Webb's not a qualifier, and Roczen's not a qualifier, sure. But if those 3 start in the top 5, then I think they go 1, 2, 3 in some order. That's what we're seeing so far. I mean, Eli and Chase, to me, are tied right now for the fastest riders in the series. And Jet's right there, and he's going to get better as the bike gets better and he gets more comfortable. So I love Webb. He's a dog, as they say. He's got that dog in him. But speed is speed, man. And, if he's not quite 100%, then these guys are going to get stronger, and it's going to go on and on. So I just wonder if we see separation. Like, I mean, things can happen, and the top three aren't necessarily locked in stone, but you just never know, man.
I think Cooper will, once it slows down a little bit, I think these first two tracks, they were going pretty fast. That's not Cooper's thing, but he's showing that he had the fastest segment in the whoops. Did you see that? He had the fastest time in the whoops segment last week. So that's a positive. The start was a positive. Yes, they got away from him. Yes, they ran away, but I expect that on tracks like that. So if you're Cooper, just got to survive these fast ones like Glendale. Anaheim this weekend looks pretty fast again too. So get him east. As long as he's within range, I think we might see him get back into that little conversation, and we won't see the separation. But at least for now, for Anaheim, Glendale, this first run where it's really fast and open, I think you're right. The speed is going to lead the way for these guys. I mean, they did break free, and as cool as it was early, it was rad. They did break free, and they did just take off with it. So yeah, speed separation now. I just hope it tightens up once we get into the tighter stuff. And Cooper, I think, is showing that he'll be there. He's doing enough in areas where he's not comfortable to tell me he'll be good when he is comfortable. That's my thought. Yeah,
he did tell Mr. Side, a.k.a. Dark Side, a.k.a. Jamie Guida, after the race. I didn't talk to Coop after the race, but he told Jamie the plan is to, be better as it goes east. I mean, we only have 4 West Coast rounds. We have no Oakland or San Fran and no Anaheim 3 on the deal. So we only have 4 of these things that, if you're Cooper Webb, you're like, got to get through these 4, and then I'm back to soil that I'm used to, back to tracks that break down into piles of crap, and back to where I can, take my lines that I need to take. Daniel, you did want to talk about the Roczen Webb battle?
It was flashbacks to me. I mean, I just think back, see, I'm sure this for you even more than me, because you were there for so much longer. I went away for a while with arena cross, and then again, I was a racer, so I didn't consume the sport the same way, but over the last however many years that I've been there, like each year has its own feel, and you have these little mini eras that exist in this era. And the Kenny Coop little era was so good. They were just battling back and forth. They were the show. And it's cool, just all these years later, they're on different bikes now, they're in different chapters, and they're just going at it again. And I thought Kenny was actually giving it to him pretty hard and aggressive. That could probably be twisted terribly. But you know what I mean? Like it felt like a flashback from old battles, but just reborn. And I liked it. I don't know. What did you think? I thought Kenny was a little on the aggressive side, and typically it's the other way around with those two, but I'm good with it.
Yeah, Kenny told me after the race he wasn't aggressive enough. He didn't get in there enough to make it, because you were the racer. If you woke Webb up a little bit, and he's like, oh yeah, like watch this. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the final spot on the podium too. That's $25K in bonuses from the OEM, and never mind your gear and stuff. Like there, and then on fourth, there's 0. So if you're Cooper Webb or Kenny Roczen, that's money right there. And I'm sure, points matter as well. Of course, it's points as well. So, speaking of points, Kellen or Daniel, weigh in here. Did you guys know, no one told me this, no one alerted me of this, but for 100 years, point structure has been 25, 22, 20, 18, 16, right?
Yeah.
Well, They went to 26 points there for a few years in a ridiculous thing. I think Fell did it just to be like, hey, we're one better than outdoors. Anyways,
never know.
Right, but anyways, now they have changed that 16 for 5th to 17.
Oh,
did you guys know this?
I didn't. Kellen?
Yeah, I did, because they changed it back last year, and they did the whole 1 point for 21st place. So it didn't end at 20 anymore. Remember that whole situation?
Yeah.
So that one place at 21st then made 2 points for 20th, and so on up.
That's right.
So then it runs out at 17, and then they go up from there for 2.
And then they go up from there. Yeah,
so
that's right.
So what does 22nd get? 1?
No, nothing.
0.
Nothing? So you make the main, but you get nothing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks, man, because the old trick back in the day was just get in there and just guarantee the cash. Dang, now you got to finish the thing?
I knew 22nd was 0 because I believe I ranted about that 3 or 4 times. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I don't think I knew, Kellen, on the top end that 16 changed to 17. But that affected our points this week in our point standings. So, just odd to see that. And I forgot. Or I knew and I forgot. Or I didn't know and I didn't know. And I don't know. But
Straight up did not know. I knew the change back. I didn't know the 17 snuck in there. So
yeah, I like the 2-point gap. I think that's fine. I wish it was kind of back that way, but then I also wish 22nd should get a damn point. Like if you're in the main event,
that's a lot of get a point. It's a lot of work to get in there, and it's a big deal.
But back to that battle, it was epic. I like the Webb Roczen stuff. Obviously, there's some off-track stuff as well that helps that rivalry go. And unfortunately for Kenny, he's been at the lower end of that rivalry more than a few times to Coop, right?
Yeah.
I like the Roczen Tomac stuff. That's the one where I'm like, look at these two mother effers just going at it. They've been going at it forever. And it's just like time itself is just those guys are doing it. So I like that battle all the time.
And it's crazy how long it is too. I always think back to those Motocross of Nations 250 years. Remember when those two were, wow, they really have gone since the early 250 days all the way through and still today, still out there. That's pretty rad. And then of course in WSX, they're traveling the world together as buddies. And that's an interesting rivalry that never really ever got hot in a bad way. It was just two bad dudes that always matched up and raced each other. But you know, what's crazy too, if you look at their histories, Eli had the shoulders, which really set him back. And I think, Dungey had Eli and Kenny to deal with. That was his next wave. And Eli had the shoulders, which kind of made his timeline a little awkward. Kenny had the arms that made his awkward. But they both had that, and it both adjusted them kind of in their trajectories. But then they both kind of survived it and have like gone on together. And obviously Eli's gotten the better of it championship wise, but Kenny got a bunch early and, rookie season on a 450 outdoor got one. So they do have really rad parallel careers, and even their injuries were a little bit parallel as far as things that took them out of it for a while. Kenny's, I think, obviously was the worst of the two, but parallel careers. And cool to see them still battling to when they do.
Yeah, if Kenny doesn't break his arm there, he's got maybe a Supercross title, maybe another outdoor title. There's a lot more money if Kenny doesn't break his arm there. And I do think when Roczen got back and then he hurt his arm, the other arm again in that incident with Webb, I think at that point he was like, I'm playing with house money. Like, I'm just fortunate to be here. And, the way Kenny does things, he likes to have fun. Maybe he's not 100% all in training wise. And I think Kenny at that point was like, look, man, this whole thing could have been snatched away from me. And I could have, not even been racing. So it's all good, so. And still came back to win a lot and still winning and still competitive. And do you go 2-4? He is a great story. My question is, well, do you know more than I do? You got your ear to the ground. Where is he going to end up? What's going on there? I know we got this Barcia Ducati talk, but is there any crossing up of things going on there? What do you know? That segues into my topic I had of Barcia and Ducati. So that's perfect. Kellen, I know you're a loyal PulpMX employee now. So did you listen to the show last night?
I did listen to the Barcia part, if that's what you're referencing. Yes.
And you didn't listen to the rest?
So not the show.
No, I listened to the first 3 hours so far. Sorry, sir. Slightly busy today.
Please report to HR department immediately. But I did want to talk about the Barcia Ducati thing because that was really funny. Yeah, that was really funny. His deal's up. He's mentioned that to me a couple of times. Malcolm Stewart's deal is up. Jason Anderson's deal is up. And look, Stevie Wonder can see that the Troy Lee Designs Ducati looking for a rider, Justin Barcia needing a contract, fitting in very well there with Troy and everybody else. And that's so natural of a fit. And then, of course, as I brought up on the show, the Desmo valve train system that Ducati runs is incredible on the top end. There's no valve springs, and the thing can rev forever.
So it just revs?
So we brought that up with Barcia, and he goes, Daniel, interesting.
Interesting. Finally, they made a bike for me.
Right. And Nicoletti was on the line, and he laughed too. So, but that's look, awesome. I know without a doubt from people deep that would know that Ducati and Kenny have interest.
Yeah.
Now, that'll be interesting to see. Now, Kenny, from what I know, was offered a 2-year deal to stay with Pipes and HEP. And the agent, Steve Astafan, came back and said, nope. We just want one. So What rider has ever turned down an extra year of security? Well, Ken Roczen did. So 1 year deal. It's just this year. So I think there's some smoke there. The second smoke fire going on is that when Chase was leaving Honda, there was heavy talks with Troy Lee about going there and riding a gas before KTM said, excuse me, sir, he will ride a KTM. And Troy Lee also said, you can wear A-Stars on my team. I
do remember this. Yes. That was weird, but it was
weird.
It was possible.
But so Kenny's a Fox guy and he's a Red Bull guy. And so possibly stay in Fox, go to Troy Lee Ducati, and maybe Barcia too in Troy Lee. Like maybe they swing for both of those guys.
Okay.
And they get it. But like there's a lot of reasons to think that Barcia to Troy Lee Ducati makes sense, as does Kenny to Troy Lee Ducati as well. Yeah. So I think one of those guys ends up there. I really do.
Or both. I mean, I heard a week or two ago that the idea was more than one. They wanted to come in swinging. So that would be crazy. What do you think that for TLD, since this is a Troy Lee designed show? I mean, that's a wild thing to accept, right? You are the Ducati team. You would be the Troy Lee Designs Ducati team, but you would allow a rider to not wear your gear, but still be on the team. That's interesting. And I'm sure business-wise, they can figure out to make it work. But I just think from the branding side, that's kind of rad on the TLD side to be so open and willing to that and know that you'll probably not get the direct benefit of having in your gear, but you're going to have people at the truck nonstop and you can still advertise your gear. I don't know. I don't know the makings of the idea, Steve, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I really like it. Troy Lee is the epitome of outside the box thinking, right?
Yeah.
So why not? Yeah, I mean, look, if you want Kenny in your gear, if Kenny was even open to it, that's 800,000 plus. And we know Troy Lee, is a smaller gear company. They're not on the level of a Fox or a Fly, as far as their massive distribution company behind them. So, yeah, I mean, it could be like, look, man, we don't even have 800 grand to put you in gear. So stay in Fox and we'll pay Bam Bam 250. And we have Troy Lee on the truck and, all of that. So again, Troy's Troy, man. That is outside the box and cool and it'd be a smart move. I mean, think about it. In year one, I mean, they all want to win. Everyone wants to win, right? But you have to have a good first year. And those two are vets. They both know a lot about everything. So you'd have a great range of understanding on how to get the bike going in the early years. And you would splash hard. I mean, imagine the pits. And that matters, dude. Honestly, the pits are a madhouse and you want people at your truck. And if you are rolling that out, doing the TLD way, the way they do things in the pits, and then you have those two, that is one of the more popular destinations in the pits, period. So, dang. I mean, if you pull it, though, that's big money. I mean, I would still think it's big money outside of the gear stuff, though, just to have them both. I was shocked this weekend, Kellen, you were there. Troy Lee Ducati isn't even a team yet. They have no riders. Ducati does not pay Feld. All the OEMs also pay Feld to just advertise with tough blocks and banners and whatever, right? I think everybody does it, including Suzuki. Well, Ducati's not even doing that. And dude, when you walked in the pits from the fan zone entrance, like the first truck you saw was Ducati Troy Lee in San Diego pits.
Smart.
We know they're going to 8 races or whatever they were telling us about the display bike and all of that. And that's cool. I was surprised, Kellen, that Troy Lee Ducati got that parking spot. Yeah,
it almost feels like it's a please come in kind of thing situation that Feld and all those guys are doing. Like, we want to make them feel welcomed so that they are very interested in supporting and pouring money into the sport. And maybe it's like a little bit of a handshake deal already of them coming on as an official sponsor of the series and all that stuff as well too. So I know how important parking is.
I felt Triumph got a lot of love year one too. I mean, it was heavy from every angle, I thought, and I felt the same way Kellen was, which was like welcome. It was like a welcome.
Yeah.
Come on in kind of thing. So I don't mind it at all.
Stanton and Ricky got a little segment to do laps at LA SMX, on a Triumph.
Exactly. They're inviting these brands in, man. I mean, the sport is cool right now, and these brands are making sick bikes that are coming out. So I could see them doing a little extra to invite them in like that, Kellen. It makes sense. I would do that. It's a good move.
Well, we can't bet because we have hard cards, but I would bet on Barsha or Roczen.
Are you not allowed to bet?
To Troy Lee.
Is that the
Yeah,
deal?
some of the hard card. Once you get a hard card, you can't go on betting sites and do anything. But
No way.
like,
So I can bet.
you can bet.
Tell
What
me
I don't
stuff.
get
Hey,
though,
tell me stuff, dude. And I will run a dark money campaign, underground betting, dude. I got you. Just let me know. I got you.
you're breaking up. You're breaking up. I can't hear you. Hey, DB, you did want to talk about Jorge Prado?
Yeah, I'm curious. I have a thought. I'm curious your thought too. I'm just curious the overall approach and how it's going over there and what the method is this year, because I felt like coming in heavy dose of reality from most people. They were like, hey, look, he's gonna be good this summer. Indoors is going to take a little bit. We're good. I think that most people felt that way, but I also think that some thought maybe not, because he is a 2-time world champ. He was pretty interesting last year. The way he rides makes you think he'll take to this, which he is. So I felt like there was a little bit of this hype going on that something might be blossoming or brewing with him that's going to be really special. And I never felt that way. I always thought this year was going to be rough, only if taken that way. And I guess my thought is for you, like, what do you think the Prado move? What is the move right now for Cowie and Prado? Are they just learning and data acquiring and just going through the motions together with a smile, or do they start getting worried at some point? I'm just curious your thoughts, because I give them the whole year off as far as judging anything. I'm just curious if there's a vibe in the pits or from the industry or what you're feeling.
No, the Cowie guys, I talked to Dan Fahey this weekend, and I was like, oh, LCQ. And Dan said, you know what? That's fine. That's okay. That's all part of the process, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, absolutely. Like, you got to know that, going the LCQ is fine, and shit can happen. And it's more track time, more things you learn. Also, by the way, those guys in the LCQ, those Privateer Islanders, they degaff about Jorge Prado.
Yeah.
So lucky for him,
yeah,
he got the whole shot and took off.
Brees would love a shot at the 70.
Imagine those guys just carving up their knives and forks looking at the 70 and just
they
being
were.
like, watch this.
You
want to dance, motherfucker? You want to dance?
You, dude, when I was a privateer on the gate, I was... Oh, and the LCQs, you're so scared to not make it. You just got to make it. And then every once in a while, you come down to the tunnel and you're waiting and they all come rolling in. And then you look and here comes a factory dude or two. And you're like, what the hell are you doing in here? Like, what? And I'm telling you, there was a thing where it wasn't like a fear of them. It was like an anger towards them. And I could see Brees and those guys going red and seeing Prado in there and just being like, dude, you're not supposed to be in here. You're supposed to be like Chisholm or another Chiz guy to go and battle with, but not Prado. So he escaped it, which was good for him. It was safe. But yeah, I'm watching him and I'm curious of how it's going. And if you tell me Faye, he's talking that way, then I like it. Cause I feel like he's got 17 weeks to just learn, like come home every week and just write down on a piece of paper, everything, and just stack data all year. And then next year, I believe he could be pretty good because the starts are so good. I just feel like there was enough anticipation coming in where people might be feeling let down, and I don't think they should at all. I think it should be zero expectation, period, until Paula, period.
The same people that thought Masterpool was getting cheated out of a title are the same ones that like Prado could win this thing. Like,
It may be the same.
Yeah,
group.
Mitch Payton doesn't think that, and Factory Cowie does not think that, and it's exactly what you said, Daniel. Just learning year, don't get hurt. See you at Paula. Hey, thanks to Troy Lee Designs, and thank you to Race Tech as well. Decal Works on board with us. Decal Works, big part of Daniel Blair's Orange Brigade program when he was there. Red Bull KTM as well, and Factory Husqvarna Off-Road. Pulpamex 25 is a go to say with Decal Works. Love those guys, Ron, Sean, Nick, and the boys down there, decalmx.com. Use the code PULP25 to save. And also thank you to Zool's Bags. Zool's has got you covered with backpacks, roller bags, gear bags, and more. They're official luggage sponsor of Triumph Racing, Phoenix Racing as well. Zacho, Trey Kennard, ZulzBagCode.com, ZULZBagCode.com, Pulp25. These are great bags and laptops, and they got a gear bag there that's so huge. I forget what it's called. It's massive. Daniel could fit inside of it. I guarantee you. It is huge. So
the backpack thing, I used it this week. I went to Arena Cross. Actually saw Chambers. Isn't Zacho working with Chambers? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I saw him race a couple nights at an Arena Cross in South Carolina, and I took my big new giant backpack, which is literally like a travel bag / backpack. I mean, it's perfect for the in-betweener. So 2 thumbs up, bro, on those. And
Maxxis
thank you for getting
tires
one
as
shipped
well.
to me too. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks to Chad at Zool's. Maxxis tires, of course. There's a test up on pulpamex.com. Our guy, Chris Kiefer, tested the Maxxis tires, the same ones Cade, Freddie, and Hunter Yoder are using, and the Maxxis.com. Great mountain bike tires as well. If you mountain bike, you know Maxxis is the shit over there. And dirt bike tires are good too, developed by Jeremy McGrath. So thanks to those companies. And Daniel, I think, are we done with Prado?
Yeah, I'm good. I want to do my ASV read. That's okay. I got to
No,
read.
not yet.
Not yet.
No,
okay.
not yet.
All right. See,
okay.
At least I'm ready this time. But all right, let me know when.
I forgot to talk about this last week with you, but I do think that our listeners and our viewers, because there's a Daniel Blair Nation out there. There's a Blair mob, Blair gangbang, Blair. I don't know, something. We gotta come up with a name, Kellen. Blair B, something with a B, like Blair.
No,
we'll come up with
don't make up anything.
Blair Blitzkrieg.
Sometimes.
But they want to know, you're not going to the races. You got all your shit going on that you're doing, Supercross U and Main Event Moto and whatever the hell else you got going on. They want to know what you think of the broadcast through 2 rounds. Like we've had Wygant, we had Lee, we get Wygant again this weekend. JT, yeah. We want to know what you think of the broadcast through 2 rounds.
They want to know. Kellen, you hear this guy? They want to know.
I guarantee you our listeners and viewers want to know what you think.
Steve wants to know. All right. I'll let you know what I think. Starting with pre-show and post-show at round 1. I know it's expensive and I'm sure it's hard, but those need to happen more often, like way more often, especially because you have AC and JB. They're doing the live announcing, right? Is that correct?
Just JB.
I thought Adam was doing it with him. He didn't.
No, JB and Lurch, I believe, are handling live.
Okay. I thought AC was. Anyways, the point I was going to make is having them on the pre-show was really good at Anaheim 1 because they are the new fresh face of the sport as far as riders that just retired, are very current, are very motivated, and have cool stories. I mean, Adam's a 250 champ. JB is a Daytona Supercross winner. So they don't have the massive credentials, but they have like the perfect amount of credentials to move into what they're doing, and they're great at it, and Race Day Live is good. But my first thought is I think we need to see more of them. Honestly, more of Adam, more of Justin, and obviously more of Weege. There's so many places I could go with that, Steve. I'm sure you want me to, but I really, really, really like the broadcasters that live it 24/7 all day, every day, and that are in the trenches with the fans, because the fans are. And I want more of them at whatever way we have to do that. If that means pre and post show, then pre and post show. But whatever we could do to get more Weege, more JB, and more AC on the screen. That's my opinion.
Daniel, he left some names out. Kellen, he left some names out. He didn't.
I'm ready for the next generation.
So lots of discourse, and I usually fight it back. I'm usually swatting it like mosquitoes on Ralph and Lee. Like, to me, they are just the caretakers of the TV broadcast, and they get in and out, and they throw the questions to their analysts. They don't analyze. Ralph, good guy, loves rock music, really didn't know what was going on with a lot of riders in the pits. Lee, knew an AEO rider difference. Lee had some good questions. Lee used to do motocross in Australia, like in the 80s or 90s or whatever. So, and Ralph did TNT races forever. So, in a way, they both have a motocross background. They are not just thrown in there from, table tennis. Mm-hmm. And I just don't even notice those guys. Good job getting in and out of the breaks. And thank you for that. I'm guessing, though, you feel like Weege is significantly better?
It's not even a better thing. It's just placement. So I'll try to explain this the best I can. Lee and Ricky are so grand. If you look at their history and what they do, Lee being Olympic broadcaster and the range of things he's done, some of the biggest events ever, Ricky being the greatest of all time, they have this very grand presence about them. And I think it's important to see them right off the top come in, see they present the sport well. And I'd say they let the fan base know that we're in big, giant hands here. But when it comes to the actual race call, which would be just from the drop of the gate to the checkered, I just want layers deeper. That's what I want. I want to know a few things more. I want the action a little tighter. I want the call a little tighter. And that happens when you have guys that are living, again, in the 24/7 in the trenches and know everything that's going on and are pursuing it 24/7. So that's it for me. It's more of a puzzle piece thing. I actually think that, in my opinion, if it was me, I'd flip it. I'd have James, Ricky, Lee at the desk every single week, all 17. I'd also bring in Jeremy and Wyndham and bring in all the legends to be at the desk and rotate in and have them pre-post center, middle, halftime type thing. But then the actual race call, just the gate drop to the checkered, I would put it in the hands of the ones that are living it every day, because the fans live it every day. And I think that they want it presented to them that way. So that's just my opinion. I think it's fine as is. I think the sport's growing. All the numbers are good and everything's going well. So I don't think there's a need to change course. I know the fans are upset about things, and I get it. But no, I think overall it's good, but that would just be the pieces that I would move around. I think it would be an overall better presentation if the all-time big name dudes were our presenters and the race call was done by the guys that are living it every second of the day.
Yeah, to me, I mean, no one will argue that Wygant knows more than Lee Diffie and Ralph did at this sport. No one will argue that, including Lee and Ralph. And when I watch Wygant, obviously he's a great friend of mine and yours too. He does a great job. But I don't see a huge drop-off from Weege to Lee to Ralph. And that would be my order, probably. Weege, Lee, and Ralph. Ralph needed to definitely do some more homework on some of the lesser-named guys. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, good job steering the ship. Do I have a bit of an issue with Ricky and James at times? For sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I'll tell you what, one thing. The race day live was out of the park this week in San Diego. I mean, it's phenomenal.
I heard. You told me.
I told a lot of people. So I you know what? I told a lot of people how great it was. So I must have forgot that I told you also.
Yeah, you did. You told me it was amazing. It was like a weird uplift in quality and talent and vibes. It's weird.
Yeah.
You never talk good about that show.
No, this week it was great. Okay, all right. Well, that's a fair and balanced look at the broadcast. Kellen, do you feel like it was a fair and balanced look at the broadcast from our broadcast expert here?
I think it was fair. I think he could dive in deeper if he wants, but that's okay. We'll leave him be.
It's only episode 3.
Yeah, it's week 3. We got a lot of time. We got a lot of time. Go nowhere. We'll talk more as we go. But that's just an overall macro view of my thoughts.
One week we are going to do maybe the whole show on Blair. Map out what you would do. Like map out what you would do for the ideal Supercross broadcast. Well, that may be a whole show, from pre to post to announcers to segments to ideas, all of that. So,
I don't know. An hour? All right, maybe off-season show, Steve. Off-season show.
All right.
Moving on. Let's talk dirt bikes. Pick a rider. Any rider.
No, let's talk ASV levers.
Oh, all right.
That's your guy.
Yeah, that's my guy. And I'm going to do the read. I'm going to do it right. You ready?
Oh, did you get in trouble for not doing the read?
No, I came in a certain way with just my own method of read, which was just, I was going to say how cool they are, but I want to do the actual read because they took time to do it. And it's good. All right. So ASV Inventions has been an innovating American-made motocross components and tools since the year 2000. Steve, I graduated in 2000. Do you know that? Made by riders for riders in Southern California, ASV is a pioneer in innovation, starting with the original folding, unbreakable levers, patented. And I'll say the other half for the next time, but visit asvinventions.com. And then is there like a code? Because I don't have that.
Yeah, Pulp 25.
Okay, Pulp 25 to save.
Wait, I need to check too. Hold on. Maybe not. I very unorganized. Kellen should be in there. No, Pulp MX, all caps, ASV.
First 20 orders, all free, paid by Steve. First 20 orders. Wow. Let's go.
Not true. Also, thank you to firepowerparts.com. Firepower Parts, Club MX guys. Use them. Cody Shock's mechanic, who snapped Joe Schmoda's hand with his pit board. Definitely.
So was him?
Firepowerparts.com. It was.
It was like a secret. It was a secret all day Saturday. I was like looking around the internet and like no one would say it. And then I finally, it was like, because people, the first thing I saw online when it happened was that it was Deegan's. Oh, Deegan's mechanic broke Joe's hand with the pit board.
Oh, I
First thing
sent
heard.
Duff a DM saying that's fucked up. You did that, Duff.
Yeah,
And so I did do that. But it was Cody Shock's guy. Of course he didn't mean it. I'm sure he feels terrible. And poor
Yeah.
Joe. Yeah. So thank you to the folks at firepowerparts.com for coming on board. And also Troy Lee Designs and Race Tech. Again, troyleedesigns.com. Check them out. We're going to have a code for you soon with those guys and Race Tech, racetech.com. Daniel's got the shirt on. A lot of riders using the suspension and using Race Tech, and all the guys down there from Chris and Rob. Racetech.com. Thank you for the support on the show. Youth movement in 250s, Daniel. I'm not sure I'm with you on this because, like, look at the ages of Jordan Smith and RJ Hampshire and so on and so forth. Like, but you think there's a youth movement going on?
It's starting, is what it is. So I want you to think about this pack here, because they all kind of grew up together. It was Hymas, Ryder D, Deegan was in that, Dax Bennett, Casey Cochran. Then Juju got in there. Now you're seeing Cole Davies. So you're kind of seeing this 19, 18, 17-year-old wave coming in, and they're starting to do great. I mean, Juju won, and Davies won a heat, and Deegan's won, and Hymas last summer. So what I'm seeing is this new pack that's coming in and sorting it out and becoming the new pack. You got the McAdoos, Jordan Smith, that wave that was in there for so long. They're dealing with this new wave. And I guess the point I want to make is that there's more coming. Because in futures for the next probably, I'd say 2 to 3 years, there's a bunch of kids that are like Juju and like Cole and like Ryder D that are, I wouldn't say they're more advanced than past generations, but they have more Supercross. They've been doing it a little bit longer. They know the pathway goes there now, so they're getting on it earlier. And I just think that what you're seeing, that main event, man, with Juju and Davies, that 1 and 2 up there didn't stay. But you're about to see more of that, I think. And there's a wave coming that's about to, I think, kind of absorb the 250 class. And to me, Davies and Juju was kind of the early signs of that. It shows that futures is working. And I just want to let y'all know there's more. There's way more of these kids coming that are like that. Who says, Steve, they're going to put it all together mentally like those two are? They're really putting it together. But talent-wise, there's like 10 of them like coming. So That's the point I wanted to make, is we're seeing the early signs of, I think, a little changeover.
Yeah. I just still think that Star is just taking multiple shots at the board and hoping one of them sticks, and Davies has stuck. And we've seen from Fry to Romano wash out there. And I think they're doing the same stuff right now with the Minier kid, Davies, and correct me on who's the other kid they got?
Caden Dudney.
Oh, Caden Dudney. That's it. So I think that's what they're doing. Just the more shots you have, the more likely one will pan out. But man, it's no secret that from J Mart to A Mart to Osborne to RJ to Jordan to probably somebody comes that I'm forgetting about now, Max Anstey coming back from Europe. The old guys, when you're older in that class, you are physically stronger, you are mentally stronger, you are more experienced, you're more able to go up front and stay up front and know what it takes. And I just think that part of the game won't change. And so as long as we are not pushing dudes out of that class, and let's face it, it is fucking impossible to get out of the 250 class right now. You got to be some sort of phenom to point out and get out of there. So as long as the rules are what they are, because of the reasons I stated, old dudes will continue to rule the 250 class, good or bad.
They will, and they'll have a place. And if you notice, like right now, it's split into 3 groups. You have that older generation that is, they're your vets. That's the RJs, the Jordans, the Max Ansteys. And then you've got this kind of like right in their prime group, which would be like Vial, Kitchen, Shimoda, where they're, early 20s. They've been in there for a couple of years now. And then you have that youth wave that's kind of starting year 1, year 2 guys. And here's where I think the changeover is because in the past, you talk about these guys, like for Star Yamaha, they had LeBlanc, they had Romano, they had Kitchen. I think they had all 3 at the exact same time. Those 3 didn't come up and do any futures. They didn't go through the process that these kids are going through now, where they're actually doing 4 months out of it and then not racing it and then doing another 4 months. So they came in, I think, way less prepared, dealing with a generation like RJ and Jordan, these guys who actually did go through the road to Supercross. I know it sounds crazy with the arena cross thing, but Faulkner, all those kids, RJ, they all went through that. AP went through it. So you have that generation hanging in there with a bunch of young riders that didn't get the futures thing. But now the next wave is getting it. And that's where I think this is just the beginning. So right now, today, I think you're right. But 2 years from now, the Hymas, Ryder D, Juju, Davies wave and back is going to wave over the entire 250 class in 2 years.
That's possible because
big time.
Those guys will be gone. Like RJ's moving up. Jordan's got a 450 deal in 2 years. So yeah, maybe so.
And then to me though, then the Joe Shimodas, the Levi Kitchens, who are in their prime right now, they're the ones in a unique spot because they kind of got to go get it done. Because if they don't, they end up becoming the RJ Jordan guys that have to do it the vet way. And I don't think they're going to have as good of a time as the last older generation did, because Juju and Davies have been doing this since they were like 14. So again, we already saw it. We saw them running 1-2 for half the race. That's coming, a bunch of them. So 2 years.
If only you were still in charge of an amateur program,
I just scout from the outside now, Steve. So any of you factory teams out there, just give me a call. I could tell you, I can line them up for you 1 to 10.
Listen, just if your parents are listening, Supercross U, sign up.
There you go, Steve. I will send you a commission check for that plug. That was good. Thank you.
Okay, next thing I want to talk about, and I really don't want to talk about it because it's Deegs, but we got to talk about it because it's Deegs. You wore number 125 when you raced, Daniel, when you had the cape on and the LBZ and all that shit. That was you. If Deegs was worried about the title coming in on a scale of 1 to 125, and let's say his only worry was injury, so I would put it at about a 10 worry factor out of 125. Right now, 2 rounds down, if you're Brian and Deegs, what's your worry factor about this title out of 125?
Oh man, I hate to put a big old circle and target on my guy, but their worry number is 23. Okay. You like that? You like that, Steve? Come on. You use the numbers. You want to go 125. Juju, 23. That's the problem. He's better than I thought, anyone thought, and they thought. That's what I really believe. I think that there is a concern there. Not all the way with Hayden. I think that they're probably feeling okay with him, but I think that they're going, we maybe misevaluated what it was going to look like, because Juju was supposed to be year 2, fast, but kind of messy and not really put together. But Steve, you watched it. It's put together. It's very complete. And I think if you're them right now, you're less worried about the whole thing and more worried about him. But I will say this, I got to give Deegan some mad props. He did by name congratulate Juju on the podium, and he did not have to do that. He could have blown right past that, never said a word, but he called him out by name and congratulated him. And that's honorable, but it also tells me that he's aware. He's well aware that kid's better than he thought. And I'm not saying Juju's going to win this thing. He's not in time to do that in year 2. I didn't see that. But he's better than they thought. And if you're the Deegans right now, you're looking at a rider who is all the way polished and perfected and nails every start. So I would be a little concerned, at least 23%, Steve.
Kellen, can you play the game, please, out of 125? Just Kellen, can you do this? Because what number are you at concerned if you're Deegs?
38.
Maybe around that. I don't think it's too much of a concern yet. I think if we leave the California Glendale swing and he hasn't won a race, I'll be more concerned. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I think he's just had bad luck on the first lap. He's more or less been the fastest guy both main events so far. This one, he said Masterpool or someone slid out in front of him. He couldn't do the Supercross triple, lost like 7 spots. And then Anaheim 1, he crashed in the first lap. So I think that this weekend there's every chance again he just gets a good start and walks away from everyone again. So
I don't know. Once Deegs got clear in San Diego, Juju had as many fast laps as Deegs did. Juju was better than him as many times as Deegs was better than him. Now overall, Deegs had a better fast lap. So I'm putting the worry. This is what I wanted you fucking guys to say, but neither one of you would. If the concern of like panic button is 125. It's got to be at a 62 right now.
Okay. So you wanted to be at halfway. Okay.
Yeah, because
you're halfway.
Like,
okay. It's a long way to get there, Steve, but yeah, you're halfway concerned.
I'm halfway concerned of a panic button because, like he's probably still going to win this. As for the regions Kellen mentioned,
he's still the favorite. He's still my pick to do it. But
he is. But this Juju kid is as fast as him. Looking at qualifying, looking at main events. and he's been able to get the starts, and Deegs battled arm pump and all that. So yeah, I'm just saying you got to be a 62 out of 125 that you're like, oh shit, like you said, we are in a battle, we are in a fight.
Yeah.
And now, of course, this weekend in qualifying, Deegs will do his thing.
Hey, but then again, this is unique territory for the Deegs, because he typically, when he's challenged by somebody, likes to elevate the temperature, and it usually works. But he was doing a little bit of that with Juju in qualifying, and it didn't work. And then Juju won the main. So he may be dealing with someone different. I don't know if you've been able to tell. I mean, Juju is very, very even keeled. He doesn't. Man, he'd be a hard one to crack if you were trying to crack him. He doesn't really. I don't know. It's interesting, just the dynamic that's already starting. That's going to go even further now because Juju is winning and beating him even when the games are starting. And I will tell you this: the math is not good for Hayden right now. He's 10 down, which isn't bad. He was only 7 down last year after 2 rounds. So that's with the wrist. That's with the first turn deal. All of that after 2 rounds, he was only 7 down, and now he's down 10, and it feels different. So that's why I am concerned somewhat, Steve. But he is still my pick. That's where the money would go.
Yeah, apologies to those who listened to the Pulp Show with Juju on the show last night, but I'm sure we have a bunch of Trumpers that love Blair and hate me and will never listen to Pulp Show. So let me just bring it back around. Juju last night said that he's been dealing with Deegan since he was 6 years old.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said he's fully aware of what's going to happen and what the Deegans will do. And he did sound incredibly level-headed on the Pulp Show about this whole thing that Darkside and I were talking to him about. So yeah, he knows it's coming. He sounds level-headed. He said he's been dealing with it since he was 6.
Wow. So think about that, Steve. He comes in and he's throwing it out at everybody. But the kid that he grew up with, because Juju's from Arizona, raced in SoCal his whole life. They're the same age. Actually, Juju's a little younger. So the younger kid who he's beat on his entire life and picked on somewhat is now the one that's got him sitting there going, wait a minute, hold up. It's pretty interesting because he kind of flexed on everybody else very easily and playfully, and they all just kind of crumbled. And then this one hasn't yet. So man, talk about a twist in the sport. I did not see that coming. I saw Juju shining once Hayden was gone and being like the heir to Hayden's little run. I didn't know he was going to maybe beat him. And that's
and look, this weekend, Deegs could get the whole shot and just take off and win, and Juju could get third, and that gap is now 5 points, and we're all just like, okay.
I mean,
all right.
This sport is always like Saturday night makes you look stupid all the time. I mean, that's the funnest part of it. But at the same time, he's got to get a start, and he seems to not be able to do that. But you can't blame the bike because Davies is starting good every single time. So it's a Hayden thing. Once he gets the start figured out, he's going to be different, and he's probably going to go on a run. I believe that. But out of the gate, man, 0-2, just weird probably for them a little bit.
For sure. Also, shout out to Star for making Daniel's and I's heart warm a little bit in bringing back the vented number plates. Oh yeah. Don't know why. Yep. Don't know. It obviously helps, but vented number plates. They are back.
That is. Those were cool, man. When you would have them and then you have the numbers actually cut in the plastic with the venting. When someone took the time to do it, it was good. Yeah, nice work, guys. I hate to admit that, but nice work.
Yeah, I was on real teams, Daniel, unlike you. And we would cut the plastic out and have the little, what the hell is that thing called? It's electronic. It cuts through plastic. You plug it in. It's a little knife.
Oh, the little. I know what you're talking about.
What's the thing called? I don't know. We use those things to cut out the numbers and do it right.
And they're trick.
And they're cool. Hey, also Trick, Seat Concepts. Thank you to Seat Concepts. They've been saving asses since 2009. You look at Phoenix Racing. You look at Factory Beta with #1 rider Mitchell Oldenburg. Ampro Yamaha, SLR Honda. Seat Concepts, ride the world with them. Pulp 25 to save 15% off your purchase. They got complete seats, foams. They're huge in the dual sport world. So if you're listening to this and you have a dually, then definitely you know about Seat Concepts. And if you're a motocross guy, you also should know about Seat Concepts. So check it out. Pulp 25 saves you money with Seat Concepts. And Alpine Stars Protection, you know the stuff about the gear, but then we have Troy Lee for the gear. Alpine Stars Protection. So knee braces, knee cups, neck braces, elbow pads. I have the A1 plasma chest protection that I wear underneath my jersey. That's the exclusive Chest Pro that got me 6 moto finishes between 12th and 19th at the World Vets. All of them with a Alpine Stars A1 plasma chest protector. So thank you to Alpine Stars Protects. ASV levers, Firepower parts, Decal Works, Maxxis, TLD and Race Tech all on here. I think it might be time for me, Daniel, to talk about the fantasy game, unless you have something else.
I'm good. Let's get into it. I got absolutely torched, but now I get it. DNFs, man. I mean, here we are against, I used to play Pulp Fantasy back in the day, and I get so mad. I remember being so mad at McElrath once on the podium, dude. I was so pissed at him for the week before, and that's when I knew I was done with this. And now here we are again. Yep. I'm right back in it, playing this stupid game. Dudes are DNFing, and now I'm getting waxed, and you're putting it out on the internet like I have bad picks when they're DNFing. So here we go again.
Well, yeah. So right now I'm 24 up on you in the game. But, I mean, listen, I could have a DNF again this week. Kellen will probably try to sink me. He's a fraud and bought and paid for by the Blair Nation, I'm sure, to try to tighten this group up. But right now I got a big lead after 2 rounds. Ryder D, I correctly nailed the 5th place finish. Like, check me out. 0 points
and
because
solid.
I got it right.
He is solid right there. Are you good with him and his results right now? I am.
No, I'm not.
What?
I'm not. He's a fat. I like Ryder D and I like his mom, and they're nice people. He's on a factory bike in year 2 races in a row. He's been caught late and passed late in the race by Jordan Smith last week for the last podium spot, and by Davies this week, a kid. He cannot. He has a nice gap. He's got to keep that gap and get on the box late in the race, or stay in 4th late in the race. But listen, it's been okay. I'm not going to put the kid on a cross and light him on fire. Like, it's fine, but he needs to hold on to those positions late.
Details. Okay. You're correct. There's some details that need to be fixed, but overall, I think the trajectory is going exactly to schedule. Top 5 guy in year 2, just stay the course. Just
4-5 is great. It could have been 3-4. That's all.
True.
So
yes.
I correctly predict Ryder D for 5th. Cole Thompson, I said 10th. He got 12th. That's +2 difference. And Barsha, I said 7th. He got 8th, +1. A 3. Kellen, we got to keep track of like the best ever score during a week. And a 3 is pretty damn good. So write that down. Daniel, you had Cody Schock. Oh, you missed it by 1. Good job. Everything was good. That was an awesome pick.
Yep.
Especially because you look at like Schock's range is bigger than, say, Ryder D's, and you got it. So good job. But then, Daniel, Lux Turner, bike issue. 11th,
KTM too. That stings, Steve.
And then Aaron Plessinger, you said 6th. He got 22nd, crashed. He's going to be fine for this weekend. 16th difference is there, and that's where the gap is. By the way, AEO, Lux Turner had a bike problem. Talon Hawkins KO'd himself and got carted off, and Avery Long KO'd himself and got carted off, and Talon Hawkins broke a leg, and as we said, Lux Turner broke a bike. Horrific night for Team AEO, and I was thinking, I was on a team like this. I've said this story before, but I actually did some research, and I was slightly off. 2000 Southwick. I said we went to the Southwick with 4 riders and never scored a point all day. With 4 guys, 8 motos. So I went back and did some research. I was wrong. Keith Johnson got 18th in 1 moto. So Keith got 2 points.
Wait, is it Southwick? Keith. Okay, I was going to say
Southwick.
Northeast Keith did not get 18th.
No.
Albuquerque
Southwest
Keith.
Okay. Got 2 points. Kelly Smith didn't score a point all either moto. Andy Harrington didn't score a point either moto. Roderick Thane didn't score a point either moto. So imagine going to a race with a semi-truck, and you may as well have lit yourself on fire and got 2 points at the end of the day. Like, that's tough to do. So AEO at San Diego was much like Factory KTM at Southwick in 2000 as well. So I've been there. But anyways, that's the fantasy Daniel Blair Matthes Project fantasy results. 47. I'm 24 up. I'm cruising. I am cruising and bringing this thing home. Only 15 more rounds to sort of get this out, unless evil Kellen Brower decides to screw me this week. Kellen, what do we got?
Yeah, what do we got? I need back in this.
I'm not going to fully screw you, but we are going to do a little bit of gamesmanship here where the leader definitely will have the harder picks throughout the season. Okay?
I like it.
So,
well, listen, sir, as long as you keep that part of the game up, I'm okay with it.
I'm a neutral party, sir. I just want to see the game be played effectively. That's all I care about. Okay.
Well, that's not what Lewis told me.
So I get Jet, Eli, and Chase this week. I'll go 1,
Not
2,
quite.
3.
No.
Not quite.
Okay.
All right, Steve, for you this week, where's Malcolm Stewart finish?
9th.
9th for Mookie. All
Going
right.
backwards, huh?
Let's talk about Vince Freeze. Where does Vinny finish?
Oh man, let's not. Had a rough couple days, dude.
I don't even care about that pass on Benny. Whatever. Daniel, you're arena cross guy.
The
You're
Vinny
fine with
one was
that.
fine. That was classic. That was great. It's
Yeah, okay.
just, yeah.
The lapping.
Yeah.
So brutal. Anyways, am I Vince Freeze my pick or Daniel's pick?
No, your pick.
Yours, Steve.
I'm not going to
Well,
make
first of
DB
all,
pick
Kellen-
Vince.
Thanks, Kellen.
Okay, hold on, sir. I believe Mr. Freeze is doing the arena cross on Friday and the Supercross on Saturday, but that's not for sure. If there's travel issues or can't get a flight or whatever, so I moved to strike Mr. Freeze from the pick.
Where's the
because
arena
he
cross? Prescott Valley?
I don't know.
Or back in Reno? He can make it. He's fine.
He's going to try, but honestly, in all fairness, we should strike him because
Wow.
we don't know for sure if he's going to be there.
Sad. Oh, I was really
That's
excited to
pretty
have you
sad.
pick Vince Freeze,
Yeah,
and you're not going to
that's
have a single
Scared.
pick
Scared.
for him. All right, then I'll make a change and have you pick your buddy Benny Bloss.
I'm fine with that. That's pretty rangy. And Vince might be there to take him out again. So good luck, Steve.
15th.
15th for Benny. All right. Now the real chaotic pick here. Michael Moseman.
Yeah, Kellen.
Mosman's range
Spice it
is
up.
3 to 22.
3 to retiring and leaving again, going wherever he went again. It's a big range.
10th.
10th. All right. Not bad.
That's
All right.
playing it safe because you're right. It's a 3 or a 20. It really is.
Like I said, it's not going to be easy, DB, but we're going to go a little easier picks, I think. Hunter
Okay.
Lawrence.
1 week closer. Let's go 5. Oh, yeah, let's go 5. 5.
5th. All right. And then steady as he is, Shane McElrath.
Let's go 12 for the 12.
12 for the 12. And then I did this pick because I
Oh,
believe
man,
it was
I'm gonna be pissed at Shane again.
I believe it was you who said he's better than Jet at this age. No?
Who
Did you
said
say that?
No.
Who said
Villeman
that?
did.
Villeman said
DV.
that. Okay, but I'm curious about this because I want your perspective on this. Jet almost won his third race. So where does Cole Davies finish this week?
I do not believe, and maybe I'll be just absolutely smoked on my projection here because these boys, Juju and Cole, always overproduce my projection every time. So maybe I'll be off here, but I'll put him a nice solid 5th. Like I don't. Here's the thing with the Jet stuff, because I see the comparisons, and Cole is a little bit more put together in certain ways, but Jet has that crazy ceiling factor that he allows himself to get to and did. Cole doesn't do that. He's super reserved and very smart and calculated, and he'll only ride to the limit. And he wouldn't do what Jet did at Anaheim with Dylan. Like he wouldn't do that. So I don't think we see him pull a Jet type thing, or he's a little too reserved for that. So to me, I see a bunch of 5ths and another heat race win, but like he's going to go 4, 5, 6 all year, I believe. Because that's, I think, the type he is. So that's my Cole Davies. So yeah, easy pick for me. I think I'll go 5.
All right.
Kellen the fraud Brower helping Daniel Blair.
5s
Unbelievable.
5s and 12s, just solid ones.
Unbelievable. I think Davies gets on the box one time this West Series, if not more. Really. So.
Yeah, he could and he might because he's just got to beat 1 or 2 of them, and that class is all over the place. But but I don't see him having like the Jet type blow your mind night. I think he's doing right now like the 9.8 version of him, and he's just going to do that all year. That's just the type of kid he is. So.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
okay. There we go. The fantasy picks for episode 3, Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, Blair Matthes Project. All right. Anything else, Daniel?
No, just A2. I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah, it's been a great series. We had a 10th whoop We had a quad they
Yes.
didn't take out. San Diego was fantastic and a great race. So
What did you think, Steve, about there being a 10th whoop and then doing a segment on the broadcast, letting all the riders trash the 9 whoop theory, and then coming right out of the segment onto camera with JT, who was on the 10th whoop or talking about 10? Like, they made a real big point to let us know we got 10 and we get it. That's what I picked up. I loved it. I loved it. It was like so on the nose. I loved it.
Yeah, it was
Nice
cool
work.
to see, and hopefully they keep it going. And Grant Harlan crashed on the 10th whoop, and now they're probably going to get taken out. So send Grant Harlan
Deegan
DMs
did too.
about his
Deegan
fault.
crashed in 10.
Yeah.
Prado crashed in 9.
Thank you to Troy Lee and Race Tech. Thank you, people, for watching and listening. The reviews have been great. At least Daniel's reviews, anyways. From what I can gather, everybody loves DB, the Blair Blitzkrieg fan club. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Kellen, thank you. Thanks to our partners. Use the codes and save. And we'll see you all next week.